first of all, I just want to get to know the woman behind all of this great stuff. So in a couple of words, just tell us who Miss Olympia LePoint is.
Okay. I am Olympia LePoint. I am an award-winning rocket scientist and an award-winning author and the founder of AnswersUnleashed.com. It is a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics educational platform to help people understand science in cutting-edge ways.
Come on. So let's talk about the fascination behind wanting to get into science, right? I know for me, when I was growing up, I thought it was so cool, right? Just things of the unknown, things that we didn't have answers to, things that we were always like, wow, when we heard about it, right? Stars, moon, planets, all of these amazing things. For you growing up, what was your fascination? And when did you say to yourself, okay, this is the calling. This is my purpose. This is what I want to do.
Great question. At the age of 6, I remember going to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, and I saw their version of their mission control room and these TVs on the wall, and I saw these pictures of these men launching rockets, and I didn't realize that I looked completely different than the men that were in the picture.
Right. Exactly.
I just saw this and I thought to myself, I want to be just like those men. I didn't realize how challenging of a situation pursuing that dream would be, because I was a child growing up in South Central Los Angeles in the 1980s. So this was a really rough neighborhood. There was crack cocaine houses every other corner, and there was gang violence. And on top of that, I was growing up in a single family home to a mom who struggled to take care of 4 children by herself. So all of these pressures in the inside of my house and the outside of my house led me to a decision. Was I going to cave into the type of depression and horrible outlook the environment was going to have, or was I still going to pursue my dreams no matter what type of obstacles I faced? And I chose to follow my passion. Now, it wasn't easy. I failed algebra, calculus, geometry, chemistry.
Ding, ding, me too.
So many classes I didn't necessarily do great in, but the great news is that I had the ability to really learn how to reprogram my thinking. I work with mentors and tutors and people who are willing to help me take the lies out of my head. And there were lies in my head like I wasn't good enough. I couldn't do this. Because I was a person of color, I wasn't going to be accepted into college, or because I was a woman, I wasn't going to be successful in aerospace. I had to learn how to take those lies out of my head. Move towards truth, which was I could do this. And with the right preparation and the right studying and the right dedication and the right focus, I could do anything I set my mind to. And that's the reason why I wrote my Answers Unleashed book series, from the first book, Mathophobia, to the second book, Answers Unleashed, and the third book, Answers Unleashed 2. I talk about how we make these decisions and how we reprogram our brains so we find the answers in front of us, so we won't be stuck in a situation where we don't have answers, but rather it's the answers are unleashed because we are seeking them. It's our faith on moving forward towards our own personal future that allows us to do that.
And a lot of it, you tap into something that I've run away from, right? You heard about it a little bit, little glimpses, little things happening. But now, especially in 2023, it's really widespread. AI, artificial intelligence, and knowing that no matter what we do, that's always now going to be a part of what our future looks like. And in your book, you speak about how us as humans can basically avoid the fear of the future. You tap into something called quantum deciding. Can you break that down for us? Because as I was reading it, I'm like, I'm still afraid. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm looking forward to, or even if I want this said thing. But your explanation kind of really broke it down for us. So explain that.
Yes, quantum deciding is the 6 key decisions that you make to create the future that you want.
Mm.
Each one of us has a specific future in front of us. No machine can do that. No computer can make these decisions for you. It is you and your human brain. Your human brain is always going to be faster and more equipped and more sophisticated than any type of computer that's built. And the key to unlocking this power is making key decisions for yourself. And in my book, Quantum Deciding, in my book, I talk about quantum deciding, rather.
Yeah.
And quantum deciding are the 6 key decisions that we make to attract the future that we want. And the first decision is knowing that your past is not going to determine your future.
Yes.
That's the key to this quantum deciding process. Our past gives us the lessons that connect us to our future.
Right.
And so often we think that because we've done really poorly in school, or we made a poor choice with a decision that seemed to alter our path of our life, there's always a second chance.
Right.
And the second chance comes from your decision making. And our decision to pursue something that we know it's calling for us gives us the strength and the courage to keep moving forward. And the second decision in this process is to know the 6 decisions of attraction. The 6 decisions of attraction is basically this: each time we make a new decision based on the future that we want, we create this type of, for a lack of a better words, we kind of like manifest the future that we want for ourselves. And it's not some hokey pokey magic or a hokey pokey type of thing. No, it's concrete. It's through our decision making. Our decisions have power. And mathematically, I break down in the book that our quantum deciding, understanding the 6 decisions, literally has power and energy in each one of the decisions. And it's so powerful that this energy then pulls in opportunities for us to make new decisions and better decisions that get us closer to where we want to go in life.
Right.
So the 6 decisions, and I'll just quickly break them down, is our faith and purpose, knowing that we're here for a reason, and no one else can do what we are here to do.
Exactly.
The second is our identity, understanding who we are and how unique we are in each situation. The third is how we have intent in situations. We can change environments by our existence. People don't realize that when we are in situations, we change it by physically being there.
I agree.
And further change it by making decisions in it that will allow people to see who we are.
Right.
And then the fourth one is our decision making for learning. What do we choose to learn that's new, and how do we throw out the old information that's no longer valid? And how do we throw out the fake information and the lies and the misinformation that comes from other people, so that doesn't stop us.
Right.
And then the fifth type of decision in this quantum deciding process is understanding that we can multiply our resources to attract more opportunities in our life. If we look at Oprah, we look at Tyler Perry, we look at Jennifer Lopez, we look at these people that started from nothing, and they used the sheer grit and the sheer resources of anything they had, and they pulled in opportunities because they realized what they were working with is something that they could multiply. And then the last decision in this 6 decision set is our ability to have a healthy relationship with ourselves and other people.
Mm.
Through those 6 decisions itself, that creates a power that allows us to move forward and start attracting situations in our life. And the third part of the quantum deciding process is recognizing that our future and our past is perfect, and we have to forgive ourselves and other people as we move down that path.
Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, so I want you guys to know she's an award-winning author, an award-winning scientist, and if those 6 facts didn't help you understand why, I don't know. I got chills just as you were speaking. Number 4 was the one that really set with me, because a lot of times we are so fixated on digesting fake news and fake information because it sounds good, right? Or because so-and-so said it, and it's not based off of anything foundational. There is nothing real happening there, but we've allowed it to come to life just because we want it to be true in those moments. So I love when you said about getting rid of the old and embracing what's new, what's real, what's happening right now, the reality of the situation. So let's talk about types of AI. I know for myself, we tap into them like machines happening at restaurants, these self-driving cars, these virtual booking travel agents. In your opinion, I was reading somewhere where you said like these are things made by human mathematicians, right? Who are putting this together. So my question to you is, how reliable then is AI?
Depends on who makes it.
Come on. Tell the people. Depends on who makes it.
I really want to break this down for everyone, because artificial intelligence is the new wave of technology. Every single 30 years, we have some sort of new invention that comes. We see it within the printing press. We saw it within nuclear technology, and weaponry. We saw it within the television. We saw it within, remember the VCR? Well,
yes.
When the VCR.
I know.
We see it with the internet, or we see it within cell phone technology. And now we're seeing with artificial intelligence. So I'm going to break down artificial intelligence, and let me give it like the elevator pitch, like a quick summary, and then I'm going to break it down so it really makes sense.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence isn't something new. It's been around since 1980, but there's a new type of artificial intelligence that has really started going onto all computer systems, because it is a new type of technology with something called graphic cards and images. And artificial intelligence originally started in the 1980s, and it was 3 scientists that were developing artificial intelligence. And these scientists first started off with having it be used in ATMs when your checks would be cashed, and the ATM would see what your numbers on your check would be. And then it advanced to later on, we saw it within when you speak inside of your cell phone to get Google Maps, and it goes through. That's a form of artificial intelligence. Your cell phone has had artificial intelligence on it for
ever
10 years, at least. No, longer than that. At least, I want to say 17 years. Artificial intelligence has been on phones for at least 17 years.
Yeah.
And when our cell phones came out. So the type of artificial intelligence that is really in the news right now is called generative artificial intelligence. And that's different than what we call traditional artificial intelligence and predictive artificial intelligence. And I'm going to break it down. Traditional artificial intelligence is what we've seen since 1980, which is being able to read your checks, the printing machines that's able to scan your documents, being to talk to Siri or talk to Google Maps on your phone. This is like the artificial intelligence that we're used to using. And we're also used to using predictive artificial intelligence. Now, this predictive artificial intelligence is a little bit newer than the traditional artificial intelligence. And this predictive artificial intelligence gives us the ability to predict what stocks are going to be, predict global warming, predict sometimes how earthquakes may happen. It gives us our weather forecasts. And this is a modeling called Brownian motion, which is a differential mathematical process of chaos theory. So these type of artificial intelligence programs looks at what are the changes happening in the system, and they predict what the changes will be in the next hour, in the next 2 hours, in the next 2 years, next 3 years on the changes that's seeing. So that's type of predictive artificial intelligence. The new artificial intelligence that is out right now that people are hearing about is called generative artificial intelligence. And how that works is, instead of our traditional way of programming computers, where a computer programmer would make a good code, put it into the system, and the system would generate that code and give out an authentic output. And have that code be checked over by humans to make sure it's giving the right output. The generative artificial intelligence is eliminating that part. And instead of it having this person who puts in a good code to get a good output, it replaces it with something called data and large language models. So it takes all this data that has been collected, and it really took off. All this data started taking off and being collected during the pandemic. Because when everyone started using Zoom and Google Meets and Instagram video and all these video conferencing technologies to communicate with people when we were all in lockdown across the world, the computer programs had the ability to rely on a graphics card. It's a graphics card chip that's inside of computers, that's inside of cell phones. Anything that uses video has to have some sort of graphics card. Well, all that data from people's videos, from people's speech, from people talking has to be stored somewhere. So it's stored in these clouds, the Google clouds and the Zoom clouds and all these. And that information has to be processed. Well, guess what was processing that? The generative artificial intelligence had to process all that information to relay it to people all across the world. So what some scientists and some companies did is take that technology of the artificial intelligence of how these graphics cards were picking up people's images and voices, and they applied it to a new type of technology that these 3 scientists who were working always from 1980, they got a Nobel Peace Prize, the Turing Award, for their work in computer programming with artificial intelligence in 2019. So when 2020 came and everyone was using all their cell phones and computers to do video conferencing, all that information then fed into this new type of technology called generative artificial intelligence. And what companies started to do is use those large language models
for their benefit.
Instead of having a programmer, they created a large language model to take that data and to spit out new data from it without having somebody to code the information and then put out the right code. These large language models learn from the data and the images themselves to create the ability to look at video and text together, text and writing together, emails with video, and so on, so it can interchange the types of ways people communicate. So with that, the companies started popping up with this technology, with the data and the large language models, which had this generative artificial intelligence. But the question is, which company is using it authentically?
Right.
So it's a great technology, and it has to be used in a way that is safe for kids, safe for people who are really helping the society, and safe for people just in general, so their identity is not taken.
Right.
It's not just entertainers or politicians, it's every single person who has a unique identity, a unique face, a unique fingerprint. So we have to make sure that this type of new type of generative artificial intelligence doesn't take people's identities with the new type of inventions.
Mm.
And the companies, there are some companies that are just absolutely stellar with making sure your information's safe. And these are the companies that have already had contracts with governments across the world for
Right.
keeping security intel safe.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other companies that are popping up that don't have that agreement with countries and security agencies across the United States. So that is putting a lot of people's information at risk.
Yeah, yeah. Because my question was just about to be, is it safe, right? You figure, as I was listening to you say this, you know, it's like feeding someone a large amount of food, right? And they're just processing all of this food and digesting all of this food. Like it has to go somewhere. And I feel like it's the same thing with this AI. Like this generative AI, it's taking in all of this information, all of the things that we've done and said over the course of, like you were saying, 3 years, probably even longer than that. And then now we have to kind of dissect it to where it belongs or who is willing to take it for what. So what are some, you know, but I don't know how to kind of make this without kind of, I got to go there, right? So what are some good and bad ones, right? Because we need people to be safe and know where to go and kind of where to kind of steer away from. So in your words, what should we be looking for on either side?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to name necessarily companies, but I'm going to functions.
Mm-hmm.
There's some functions of artificial intelligence that would be very helpful. And this is for you to look for.
Yeah.
One function of artificial intelligence is to generate content that is safe. Safe meaning it doesn't generate content, and you can't generate content from someone else's information and pretend that they are the people that created it.
Right, exactly.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So you want to deal with companies that protect people's identity. That's really key.
Yeah.
Like there was something that was in the news recently. I think there was news reports. It was a fake song that was being created by The Weeknd, by Drake. Gomez.
Yes, I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah. You remember that? So
yes.
There was this, it was fake. It was artificial intelligence that sampled the recordings of Drake, The Weeknd, and Selena Gomez without their approval. And they generated a new song from it. Now, if you hear the song, it's not that great. But
right.
I mean, I personally can hear when humans put things together, because when a human puts something together, you have the feeling, you have the umph, you have the soul, you have the person's essence in what's created. But with artificial intelligence, if you listen carefully, it has kind of like a dry sound to it.
Yeah, right.
I laugh because nothing is as great as what humans can put together.
Mm-hmm.
So this song was generated, and it was on Spotify, and the Spotify officials were told by legal teams, take it down. It was copyright infringement, identity and personal intellectual property infringement.
Mm-hmm.
Famous individuals' voices. So there are legal ramifications for using images that are not accurate. So you want to stay with a company that does not use other people's images in a way that's inauthentic.
Okay.
And that could bring you down the line for you getting sued in the future, not artificial intelligence company.
Right. I definitely agree. So, you know, let's talk a little bit about jobs, right? And work life, because and I know out here, especially in New York, a lot of companies have reverted to utilizing AI. in which people like ourselves are like, well, what are we supposed to do, right? How do we keep a job? And I was reading where you said, well, they're going to create new jobs, right? Because they cannot operate without you. So what do you say to people who are dealing with this right now? Because in the short term, they're losing jobs based off of what's happening and the AI developments and things of that nature. So how can people be confident in the fact that they're going to be okay in the workplace?
Do you know what, that's a great question. Unfortunately, there's no security for any of us, exception to being able to think out of the box and coming up with solutions that no computer can come up with. For example, we know artificial intelligence is rolling out into our simple platforms, whether it be through Zoom, through Canva, as any people use Canva for their graphic designs, to Microsoft, to Bing, and there's how should I say this? The companies that are using it, they can use it, but they have to use it with a warning. What it creates is not always accurate.
Right.
For example, there was news reports that the Texas legal system has banned all work that's generated from artificial intelligence. And the reason why is because artificial intelligence pulled information out and then created a fake case to reference when it was filing court documents on behalf of someone else. So it literally made up fake legal cases that didn't exist.
Wow. In
order to process paperwork. And that's what we call in the artificial intelligence world, hallucinations.
Yes.
The artificial intelligence pulls out information that is inaccurate. It doesn't know what to do with it. And it's not like a human that will throw out the fake news and throw out the inaccurate stuff. It doesn't have that discerning capability that the human mind has. So what artificial intelligence does is it starts running down a path, making up things in order to create the output. And the output is what we call a hallucination, meaning whoever came up with that was so brilliant, because it's like,
it is what it is.
You got a mirage in the desert.
That is so true.
So any companies that are interested in using artificial intelligence, I strongly suggest them to train their other employees to check to see if the information that is being generated by this is made up or real.
Yeah.
So a lot of people may have a job in the future by auditing intelligence outputs.
Because you still have to do your due diligence in making sure it's correct and making sure it's not pouring out false information.
Exactly. Yeah. The computers can't do that. Only the human mind can do that. See, that's where the human mind has superiority between any type of machines, because the human mind has the ability to discern information.
Yeah.
Faster than any computer, the human brain is able to not only take information from a completely other source of information and compare it to what it's looking at and cross-reference things in other disciplines to know if something's true or not. Like, for example, if I've left 2 water bottles on the table and I don't know which one I drank out of last, a computer can't tell you that. A human can tell you, oh, I drank out of the one on the right. You know why? It has water beads at the top where the water was I drank down. The other one has condensation, so I know that I didn't drink the other container.
Right.
The human, what they do is they reference chemistry to be able to answer a physical question. Computers don't have that ability to cross-reference all these different areas of knowledge to be able to come to an answer. So the human brain has the discernment capability that no computer has. So if any company wants to put together artificial intelligence, if they're going to take away jobs, they better consider replacing them with people to check through what the artificial intelligence has generated.
Yeah. So in your opinion, you know, I love that you kind of broke down where AI has gone from to where it is right now and the three different brackets it fell in. For you, where do you see it going in the next 5, 10 years?
I see it, if I would give my predictions with artificial intelligence, I see three things happening. One, I see governments across the world creating agencies to oversee artificial intelligence, whether it be the United States, whether it be the United Kingdom and Europe, to the Middle East, to different countries all across the world, and in African countries. I see there be agencies generated to oversee how artificial intelligence companies use your data.
Right.
I truly see that, because I have faith in humanity, where we can use great technology in a way where we apply it in a way that's really beneficial and helpful to people. And I see that I'm an optimist, and I see that coming online. And I see with that, I see just like we have nuclear regulations to make sure there's not going to be nuclear waste in certain places that can contaminate people, and we make sure that there's not going to be nuclear weapons used to be able to harm people. I see that artificial intelligence is going to have similar guidelines. This is my prediction. I see nuclear, just like we have nuclear content, we have artificial content that's regulated. So I truly believe that we have the opportunity to see the whole world, step up with the leaders across the world, to see this is how we want to use this new technology, and this is what we want to stay away from. That ability. Second, I see there being an awakening happening. And it reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. If anybody watched the Wizard of Oz, that movie, I may be dating myself as I tell this story, but the Wizard of Oz, at the very end, the big wizard was really this man behind a curtain that was talking over a loudspeaker. I laugh because it's quite funny. So here, the Wizard of Oz is really this really petite man who was appearing to be bigger, but really he was the one creating up this thing. I truly believe that people are going to see that artificial intelligence can be mitigated, controlled, regulated, approved, shut down by the people who created it, which is like the everyday men and women who are creating the logic for the large language models to collect the data to use it in artificial intelligence. They're humans. They're humans behind the artificial intelligence. It's like just like the Wizard of Oz, you pull the curtain back. That is a human. Human behind artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence can learn on its own, yes. But at any point in time, a human can code it, show it shuts off, and starts again. And that's what some of the leaders of some large artificial intelligence companies are propositioning to the U.S. Senate. Is the second part of their propositions is saying, when artificial intelligence starts learning on its own and starts creating its own stuff, and it's not accurate, you shut it down and you create something new. And that's very easy if people know that humans are always behind every single type of invention.
Oh, come on. I love that. And I think for me, one thing that AI, artificial intelligence, will never have is authenticity, because that, like you said, that comes from us. That comes from you. It can't get what you didn't give it. You know what I mean? So I totally love that. Where can we definitely tap in to find out more about you? How can we stick? I have loved talking to you. I feel like this has been an awakening for myself, because I was so afraid. Like, what is to come? Like, what is to come? Not realizing that it's man-made, you know?
That's a good question. I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to finish the question that you asked right before. You asked, what is the other thing what are the things I see? So I'm going to answer that one question too. So I make sure I answer all your questions. And the third thing I see coming down the line is artificial intelligence being the computing system to take all the data of images and text and information and put it together in a 3D model of quantum computing, quantum communications that will lead to hologram technology. So all of
and they
this
started, right? I feel like they started doing that in small increments, but that's been a thing. Am I correct?
Yes. So quantum computing is a whole different supercharged, fast way of computing, much faster than our regular computers.
Yeah.
And it's like, if people use slide rules before, they use the calculator, and now they're going to be using AI, artificial intelligence, to do all the calculations when we deal with the quantum computing. So right now, how we're used to communication was before the telephone, then it was the cell phone that you could take with you, then it was the internet where you can do videos. See coming down the line of quantum communications, where artificial intelligence is used as a processing tool to take all this video, all this data, all this text, and create 3D images so we can actually do hologram lectures, hologram visits and spacewalks, hologram teaching. So you push a button and boom,
right.
you see someone in 3 dimensions or running. Well, it takes people in the minds of computer processing to put all that 3-dimensional pixels and elements all together to create that technology. And so artificial intelligence would be beneficial in that area, where it has to take that information and reconstruct it in a way that is most logical of what has been seen to begin with. So we have opportunities to use this artificial intelligence in a tool for in the future when we have hologram technology. So that's the positive part we're looking at. And to answer your question, how people find me, they can find me on my website, answersunleashed.com, and they can find me at my personal website, OlympiaLePoint.com.
Oh man, Miss Olympia, I thank you so much. You fed me all of this information that I needed. So I know now more than ever just the power behind this technology, what's to come, what we have looking forward to, and this faith in humanity, like you said, to do the right things at all costs. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode with Miss Olympia LePoint. Please make sure you follow her just because I said so. And Miss Olympia, you are now a part of the Courtney's Corner family because I said so and because we love you. I thank all of you for watching. We'll be back here in 15 minutes for an all new episode of One on One with Courtney Starks. Have a good one.